Hi lovelies, Om Yogis, and welcome to a practice today where we will celebrate and hope to embody a little bit of the winter. Lie down, take Shavasana, relax. I'm looking outside my window at the moment and I can see the frost, the frosty mornings, the frost on the roof, the ice and the snow. And I love at this time of year how the light bounces off of that. We've got all this white snow and water and just the light that feels so fresh and so pure and so still on those wintry mornings. So today we'll aim to bring a little bit of this purity, this freshness and this light into the body, and we'll aim to kind of absorb and reflect this lovely, lovely time of winter. So as you imagine the cells now in your body, every individual cell just releasing and falling towards the earth like little snowflakes, letting go. Just gently drifting snowflakes, feeling your cells or the individuated parts of your body, just releasing and embracing a welcome interlude of rest. So we're imagining all of the cells within the body like little snowflakes, gently drifting towards the earth, letting go. In winter, the days shorten and they darken, and nature cools us inwardly. So as you lie here now, just allow the surrender of the outer self. So let the body go, so that the inner self can brighten. Now take a couple of blocks, you guys, and just pop them under your legs. So your feet come together and your knees go wide. You're in supine Baddha Konasana. If this is acceptable for your body, if you prefer to just do one leg at a time, you can do that. Use the blocks to support you so you can continue to surrender the body over, surrendering the outer self so that the inner self can brighten. And still all of the individuated cells of your body, imagine them like snowflakes. Feel all the little shifts that your body makes as you lie here. as the little snowflakes inside of you begin to release and surrender towards the earth. On a physical level now, we're working with the kidney meridian. We're stimulating the inner legs, allowing for the filtration and the purification of all fluids in the body. So we're looking today at the water, we're looking at the light that the water, the light is bouncing off the water in wintertime, and that's why it feels so bright and pure in so many ways. And we're looking at embodying this beautiful time of winter within the body. So the blood, the lymph, the synovial fluid, the cerebral spinal fluids are brightening here. We're doing a practice to allow for more flow within the fluids of the body. And we're becoming aware of the area on your back that's just above your hips, which is where your kidneys sit. Like two great big baked beans. And you can use your awareness now just to flush through any toxins or any shadows here, bringing in the brightness of a winter's day. Brightening through your inner body, using your awareness to brighten here. And release your lower back. Part of me is kind of resistant to working with the snow and the ice in wintertime because I have a little bit of an aversion to the cold, which I'm working with at the moment. But also in the winter, there can be some really bright days of sunshine. So you can imagine the brightness you feel in your body is warm if working with a cold kind of bothers you. Bringing in the brightness of winter more than anything here, brightening the inner body. Beautiful. When you're ready, just releasing that, bringing your legs back together. Might want to rock a little bit through the kidneys, through those big baked beans behind you. Lovely. And then bring yourself up to a seated position. And we're going to bring the legs into Gomukhasana. So we're just going to cross the thighs one over the other. Your feet come towards your hips. If this is not good for your body, you can keep one leg extended and just cross the top leg over the bottom leg. Closing your eyes now, you guys. Once you find your position, see if you can allow as much release through it as possible. Allow the cells in your body to move towards the floor, like little snowflakes. And wherever you might find stickiness or congestion in your body, bring your awareness there, flushing that area with heavenly winter light. for that inner flow, that inward flow. And if you feel comfortable, you can fall forward a little bit, but it's not necessary. If this is enough sensation for you to work with, if there's a blizzard going on in there, just stay where you are, just work here. It's like this music instantly softens the pose. So let's do it quick on the other side before it changes. Inhale here. Exhale, release your legs and just swap sides. So whichever leg is on top becomes the bottom leg now. Bottom leg becomes the top leg, whether they're both bent or one is extended. Doesn't really matter. Whether you fall forward or not, doesn't really matter. We're using this posture to work with the kidney meridian. So you might feel it around the kidneys, you might feel it around the inner legs. We're using the awareness to bring brightness. May all your meridians be white and bright. And I haven't even been drinking yet. Lovely, let's release that now, you guys. And then come onto all fours and we'll meet in cat-cow. And just gently open the chest, around the spine. In this pose you can imagine those cerebral spinal fluids brightening as we move our awareness inwards and towards them. And if all of this talk of snowflakes and blizzards and winter is making you feel a little bit cold, you can go a little faster here and add a breath of fire. Keep going. Or you might want to just enjoy the rhythm of this, enjoy the deep breaths. Enjoy the brightening of the spine, the brightening of the breath. Gorgeous. Then when you're ready, come back to center. And we're going to lie down. Take a block and come into a supported bridge, bringing the block low or medium level under your sacrum, not your lower back. So the big triangular bone at the base of your spine is resting onto the block. And you can just enjoy this opener here. We're opening the belly, opening the front body. Brightening and opening. If it feels okay for your body, you might want to try extending either one leg at a time or both legs towards the bottom of your mat. It's called pontoon pose. This just gives it an extra stretch to the hip flexors and the belly. If it's too much for your back or too much for your body, just come back to supported bridge. Now we're embracing this interlude of rest. And that's what our practice of yoga brings us. Just this time with ourselves. Just this time where we can move inwardly. And see wherever you are in this pose, see if you can allow more surrender of your body. So surrender the outer self so the inner self can brighten a little bit. Surrender the physical body or the gross material body as much as you can, and allow the inner body, the subtle body, to come forward. This beautiful kind of holy sort of spirit of winter. It's juxtaposition of surrendering to the darkness, letting go, and this beautiful brightness can come into us. The beauty of the light that bounces off the snow. Bounces off the purity of winter. And when we let go of the outer sort of shell of ourselves, we get closer to that pure self, closer to that light. This is why we don't want to do too much. You want to try and let the body relax, so that tension is not created, tension is released. And we can follow that energy of winter where we release and we embrace and we welcome this interlude of rest. We welcome the shorter days and the darker nights. Beautiful. Now when you're ready, just come on out of that. And we're going to come into resting position. Move your block out of the way. Slowly let yourself come back to the mat. Take your feet a little, wider than your hips. Keep your feet to the ground, but keep your knees bent up and let them knock in. Breathe deep. Take a big old breath here and let the channels of the fluid move within you. Water lies buried within the body, and water lies buried within the earth. And this water element contains the potency of flow within our lives. When we get still, we allow for flow. It's this strange juxtaposition again that sometimes when we slow down, we allow for movement inside of ourselves. It's a different kind of flow from what we might be used to, winter flow. If we're too busy during the winter months, our resources are more easily depleted. We freeze up inside or we dry out. Back pain can be a common physical manifestation that results from depletion. So in this position, we're just sort of releasing the kidneys, releasing this area above the hips, the lower back, and allowing for the fluids within the body to move, allowing for that flow. A different kind of winter flow, an inner brightening that comes from doing a little less. All right, so you might want to rock a little side to side, just rock on those baked beans, those kidneys, and then come on up to straddle pose. Take your time, bring yourself up, separate your legs, and we're going to use this posture to open through the inner thighs. So we're focusing on the inner thighs opening, not so much the folding forward. Do your best to not allow your back to round. So to maintain the integrity of the curve of your lumbar spine, it's not too much, and it's also not falling away because you're rounding through the back. If you need to prop yourself up on a blanket to achieve this, that's fine. We're just going to hold this position, just maintain the integrity of the lumbar spine, so we can find a position of flow. Imagine the fluids in your body being able to move along your inner legs, through your pelvis and around your kidneys, and let this flow ground you. So again, we've got the outer body releasing and relaxing, and the inner body brightening and moving. And you'll notice the more you can release and relax the outer self, the more the inner self will come forward. It's very beautiful. You might also feel that juxtaposition of your outer body being very still. You're just getting kind of more quiet, releasing to the earth, one cell at a time, like little snowflakes falling down. And as you allow for this, the beauty of the light bounces off of that. The beauty of the inner light comes forward. We allow for this kind of silent night in the body, and the holy light comes forward, and all is calm and all is bright. It's kind of where we're going with this, hopefully. Okay, I didn't expect that. Merry Christmas. Okay, lovelies, let's come on out of that. And just for a second, just cross your legs here and just start to churn your belly in an anti-clockwise direction. See if you can feel your kidneys and imagine a beautiful bright white light flushing through them as you move. We're countering the depletion. This time of year, this time of year, especially when we're coming up to Christmas, where everything gets a little bit manic, a little bit crazy. And it's funny really, because wintertime, Christmas time is actually a time of slowing down, a time of stillness. And as human beings, we counter that, we go against it by all of this, the celebration and the shopping and the busyness and the work of Christmas. And so we can just use this beautiful churning pose to just release any busyness in the body. When we release busyness in the body, we're allowing for healing to come in. So we're taking this beautiful welcome interlude of rest in our practice, where we resource any depletion. Gorgeous. Then we'll stop there, come onto all fours, and we're just going to bring your left foot out to the left side of your mat. So how we're doing this is it's kind of a kneeling position. It's hard to describe, so it's probably better that you just look at what I'm doing. But I've got kind of one leg in a kind of a lunge position, the other leg behind me. And my hands are going to come to the floor, and I'm just going to continue with that circling movement. But we're working specifically here through the inner leg. You can really start to feel the hips, and only do what feels good for your body. Only do what feels like it's helping the fluids in your body to move. And just helping the flow of water around the hips that can get really dried out when we're kind of doing too much. Now change the circle, go the other way. Beautiful. Come back to center when you're ready. Let's swap the legs over, and let's do the same thing on the other side. And hopefully the music is as good for circling on the next track. I don't know what's coming next. But keep circling, lovelies. It's bringing that lovely kind of water into the hips. And let's change the direction of the circle. And the water in the wintertime is so beautiful, so pure, so bright. That's why we see it in the form of snow. So sacred really when we see sort of the geometry of the snowflakes. Bringing that kind of energy into us, that kind of intention into us, that kind of water. Lovely. Awesome. Let's come back now to seated position. Let's just churn the belly again, anti-clockwise. And then come back to center. And just breathe in the energy into your kidneys. Feel those baked beans. Great. Now let's bring your fingertips to your shoulders, actually, you guys. And as you breathe in, just gently turn to the left. As you breathe out, gently turn to the right. And just kind of, as you do this, you can feel how you kind of sort of compress that kidney area that little bit as you twist. On one side, but you're stretching that area on the other side. See if you can allow the outer body to soften so the inner body can brighten. And you can go as slowly as you like. Or as quickly as you like, depending on your breath. We're inhaling to the left and exhaling to the right. If you're feeling that it would be good for your body to add a breath of fire and do this as like a little pumping action, you can feel really welcome to try that. See how that works in your body. Beautiful. And now let's come back to center. Push back to all fours. So come back to all fours. And then push back to downward facing dog. And stretching everything out. Now shift forward to plank, lovelies. Come down, knees, chest, chin. And as you inhale, take a lovely, beautiful baby cobra. Just using the strength in your back. Use your kidneys here. And then when you're ready, exhale back to dog. Take extra breaths here in each pose. On your next inhale, inhale forward into plank. Taking extra breaths if you need to. On your next exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground. Inhale again, cobra, baby cobra. Use your kidneys. And exhale back into dog. Last round, let's inhale forward to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra, or you can push into your arms a little bit if you like. Use your kidneys. Now exhale, downward facing dog, stretch it all out. Let's just use that movement again. I lied, to come back to the ground. So come forward to plank. As you exhale, knees, chest and chin. Lovely. And we're going to come to lie down on your bellies, lovelies. Bring yourself into a seal position, so it's like you're bringing your hands onto sort of wider than usual and out towards the front of your mat, and just pressing yourself up to wherever is comfortable. If any of this isn't comfortable, you can skip it, you can rest, you can alter it in whatever way works for your body. But we're going to make this seal a little bit more dynamic here. So as you breathe in, lower to the ground, and as you breathe out through your mouth, rise up. So it looks like this. We're breathing in, coming down, breathing out, in, out, in, coming up as you breathe out, in, and pushing the energy out of the kidneys. Continue doing this in your own rhythm to your own breath. If it is comfortable and acceptable to your body today, if you'd rather just stay still and breathe deep, you can do. If you'd rather just rest on your belly, you can do. If you're good with this, we're breathing out through the mouth as you rise up, flushing out the kidneys a little bit more. We're meeting that compression that comes in the back bend with the breath. And then when you're ready, on your next breath in, come down to the mat and just rest for a moment. Beautiful. We've got one more like this, where we're going to come into Sphinx pose, up onto your forearms, if this is acceptable for your body. Now you can just stay here and breathe with awareness of your kidneys, keeping the legs nice and active, keeping the lower belly slightly lifted. Or you can come into a more dynamic Sphinx, where we're going to come into breath of fire. Continue with this if it's good for you. And if you want to add more, you can extend one arm at a time in your breath of fire. So it looks like you're kind of doing a bit of a karate chop. And you're extending the arm forward and up slightly. I always think of, when I'm doing breath of fire, I always think like I'm sort of chopping wood, like I'm sawing out the toxins in the body. So if it helps, you can visualize yourself chopping wood for that winter fire. But if you want the lighter option, you can just stay with Sphinx. Keep going, keep chopping. When you're ready, come back to center. Take a deep breath in. Hold the breath in and just lift your pelvic floor, as if you're lifting your energy up, brightening the inner body through the energy moving through the kidneys, up through the spine, into the crown of the head. And exhale, release. Press back, child's pose when you're ready. In child's pose, we're stimulating the back body. We're releasing or further releasing stored tension physically and psychologically through the kidneys. Breathe into your kidneys now. All is calm, all is bright. Sleeping in heavenly peace. Very beautiful. Hopefully at this point you can really start to feel yourself beginning to embody this beautiful time of the winter. Through our practice, through our stillness, through this welcome interlude of rest and time to ourselves, we're releasing the outer body so we can brighten the inner body. It's kind of what we're meant to do in wintertime. This is following a natural cycle. And this encourages that flow of water within us, so our pipes don't freeze up, if you like. Okay, gorgeous. Let's push back when you're ready into downward facing dog. Stretching out the entire back body from the pads of your fingers to the backs of your heels. Now, if we're tight in the back body, sometimes the stress of this tightness can compact around the lower back, and how we avoid that from happening is we bend the knees. So if you need to bend your knees tonight in downward facing dog, feel really welcome. So you can maximize the stretch, maximize the opening through the back body, so that those channels of light can really start to flow within you. Super, super beautiful. Let's walk the hands back now towards the feet and dangle in a forward fold. Bend your knees if your lower back is tight, and it doesn't matter how much you bend your knees, even if this looks more like sort of dangling chair pose, that's absolutely fine. Now flood your body with a ton of breath. And if it's good for your body, you might even want to sway a little side to side. You might even want to kind of gently nod your head yes, shake your head no. I often imagine my head like a little pepper pot, and I'm like shaking out the debris when I practice. And for tonight we can imagine the head as a snow shaker, which is quite appropriate a lot of the time, you know, it's just, we're like a snow globe. But as we nod the head yes and shake the head no, anything we don't need can just come out of the crown. Super beautiful. And then it's roll up through the spine, so let your shoulders and head stay heavy right to the last minute, and just feel the articulations of your spine as you roll up. Gorgeous. We're coming to a standing position now, and we're going to bring your right foot forward, your left foot back, and we're going to come into archer's pose. So this, it kind of looks like a warrior one through the legs. Actually, no, sorry, warrior 2 through the legs. Warrior 2 through the legs. But we're turning the body to face the front leg as best we can. We're going to bring the thumbs up. We're going to bring the back elbow back and the front arm forward as if you're going to shoot a bow and arrow. Keep that back elbow up. Keep the chest nice and open. And we're just going to start to gently bend into the front leg, using your back leg as an anchor. Again, working through the inner seam of the legs, working through that kidney meridian. Now you can just keep doing this and let your breath be long and slow if that feels good for you, or you can add breath of fire. As you add breath of fire, it'll become more bouncy in your archer pose, and that's fine. As long as your knees are okay with that. You're stimulating your legs, you're stimulating the inner thighs. In a strange sort of way, through doing this, you're brightening the inner body, and also it can be really relaxing for the outer body. Breath of fire, it really helps me to release the sort of very outer layers of my muscles when I do this breath. Just a little while longer. And now, lovelies, when you're ready, let's bring this pose to stillness. So just come into stillness and just breathe slow and deep. Or you can continue breath of fire, but keeping the body still. Deep exhale. Full inhale. Now hold the breath in and engage your pelvic floor. So it's as if you're kind of energetically pulling your heels closer together, and the energy's moving up through the spine to the crown of the head. And then exhale, release everything, release the pose, and just turn to the other side. So doing exactly the same thing on the other side. Archer's pose on the other side. Bending and extending your front leg, using your back leg as a support for that, so your knee isn't taking too much weight. Your front knee isn't taking too much weight. You can breathe slow and deep, or you can take breath of fire as you move in your archer's pose. Keep going. And then release the breath of fire for a moment as you come into stillness. Keep that back elbow lifted, gazing over your front thumb. And you can breathe slow and deep here, or you can take breath of fire again if that feels good in your body today. Keep going, just a little bit longer. And then when you're ready, take a deep exhale and a full inhale here. Holding the breath in, engaging your pelvic floor, lifting the energy up to the crown of the head. brightening through the spine, brightening through the inner body. And then when you're ready, letting go. Beautiful. We're going to take one more standing pose, I think just one more breath of joy. So just come to stand with your feet hip width apart. Keep a nice bend in your knees so you're protecting your lower back throughout this. We're going to inhale, do this slowly at first. The arms come forward. Exhale, the arms come wide. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, we bend the knees and we just let the body hang, fall forward, sweeping the arms back. Now inhale, arms forward, back to standing, exhale, arms wide. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, sweep the arms down, let go. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms forward. Exhale, arms wide. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, release through the mouth. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, forward. Exhale, out. Inhale, up. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, forward, exhale, out, inhale, up, exhale through the mouth. Keep going. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, forward, exhale, out, inhale, up, exhale through the mouth. Inhale, forward, exhale, out. Inhale up, exhale through the mouth. Now we're going to keep this movement going, but just speed it up if you like, to whatever tempo suits you. Completely lost where we are now. So on your next exhale out through the mouth as you sweep forward, we're going to inhale. When you're ready, coming up with the arms upstretched to the ceiling. Take an exhale here, full exhale, so you can have a really deep inhale here. And hold the breath in, engage pelvic floor, pull the energy up, brightening the inner body. Beautiful, release that. Now come down to the mat and just lie down for a moment. We're going to bring the soles of your feet to the floor and come up slowly into bridge position. Let's make this a dynamic bridge, lovelies. We're going to inhale, the hips come up, and exhale, the hips come down. So just allow your body to move as is its want, as is its need. Inhaling, the hips up, and exhaling, hips down. It's really nice to have this freedom in our bridge pose. We're softening the outer body so we can brighten the inner body. in some respects, we're also strengthening the outer body so we can brighten the inner body. We're also releasing the outer body so we can brighten the inner body. Like, yoga is such a magical modality, really. It's so magical because we're never doing only one thing. We're always doing this like myriad of things with the body to get the energy moving. It's so beautiful and so aligned with nature. So natural, really, for the body to do this. Okay, let's add on now to our dynamic bridge. So as you exhale and come down, on your next inhale, just stay here. And now exhale, let your knees fall to the left. And take a few extra breaths here while the body gets used to it. And then let's inhale. When you're ready, come back to center and exhale over to the right. Just allowing yourself just a couple of extra breaths. And then let's inhale, come back to center. Or inhale here, and exhale back to center. Okay, inhale, the hips come up into bridge. Exhale, the hips come down. Inhale, stay here. Exhale, drop to the left, knees to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, over to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale here. Inhale, hips come up. Exhale, hips come down. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale here. Inhale, hips up. Exhale, hips down. Inhale, center. Exhale, move to the left, knees to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees to the right. Inhale, center. Now let's exhale, just let your head fall to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, head to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale here. Inhale, hips up. Exhale, center. Knees fall to the left as the head turns to the right. Inhale here. Exhale, center. I think the breath is gone now. Let's inhale, center. Exhale, knees fall to the right, head to the left, if possible, and exhale, center. Inhale here. I've lost the breath, sorry guys. Exhale here. Okay, hips come up. Hips come down. Twisting to the left, head goes to the right. And coming back to center. Twisting the other way. And coming back to center. Hips come up, work with your own breath. And back to center. Twist left, look right. Back to center. Twist right, look left. Back to center. And just the head turns now. Turning to the left. Back to center. Turning to the right. Back to center. Beautiful. Inhale, lift your hips up. Taking your block, pop it underneath your hips, supported bridge. Breathe and relax here. Just take that welcome interlude of rest. Feel the outer body softening, falling back, really falling to the earth. Cell by cell, like little snowflakes. Let yourself fall to the earth so the inner body can brighten. It's very dramatic. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Just move away from that now. Not quite that dramatic though. Now you can come back into that extended version of this pose that we did in the beginning, if that feels good for your body, or you can just do one leg at a time. It's always nice to repeat poses so we can see our progress, if there has been any, or we can see the progression of our attitude. You know, if it's not happening for us today, at this point in the practice, we don't care so much. We're just in the energy, just in the brightness of the inner body. We're listening more now to the outer body, allowing for the release. If having your legs extended is not good for your body, if it feels like a contraction, just come back to supported bridge. So we're following the patterns of nature. We're allowing for that winter stillness within us. And this allows the fluids, the energy of the body to flow. The strange juxtaposition that when we get very still, we allow for flow. We also allow for replenishment, especially if we're a little bit depleted because of the busyness of this time of year. I'm loving the music at the moment. I'm trying to get away from the busyness of this time of year, but sometimes it is kind of hard to escape it. So we come to our yoga practice to allow for a welcome interlude of rest and rebalancing. And even there, we're reminded, of how beautiful but how busy Christmas can be. So let's come off of our block now, you guys. I think the angels are telling us to come out of that now. And we're going to take a rolled up blanket. So just come down after that long hold, just come down. Allow the knees to knock in for a second. Just lie here. And we can bring the knees gently in towards the chest, not too much though, go nice and slowly. And then allow them to fall to the left for a twist. If this feels good for your body. Beautiful, then coming back to center. And over to the right. We're negotiating Christmas in a peaceful, beautiful way. That's better. Okay, coming back to center when you're ready. For a second, we're just going to roll side to side, just relaxing, massaging the kidneys. And we're going to take that rolled up blanket now at this point and bring it along the length of your spine. A towel will do, a rolled up blanket or a towel. And you can just test this out. If this doesn't feel good for your body, you can leave it altogether and just maybe take the rolled up blanket under your knees for like a supported rest here. But if it will go along the length of your spine, that's great. You can bunch the blanket up around your neck a little bit to support the curve of your neck and just rest here. So we're just encouraging with this pose, we're encouraging everything that is lying to the left and to the right of the spine to drop back. We're encouraging the kidneys to drop back here. They lie to the left and the right of the spine, just below the ribs and just above the hips. So we're giving them a little bit of levity so they can fall backwards a little bit deeper. Allow your shoulder blades to do the same thing, to fall either side of your rolled up blanket towards the earth. And allow your hips, allow your legs, allow your arms. Everything that is left and right of your spine, allow it to relax now. And feel the parts and the pieces of your body like little snowflakes, letting go part by part and piece by piece towards the earth. As all of the little pieces left and right of your spine relax and soften and release, It's as if they get a little bit darker. They fall a little bit deeper into winter, falling away from you. As this happens, you might become aware of your spine brightening, the center channel of your body brightening. As the energy is pulled back to this point. Breathing now from your sacrum to your crown, breathing up and down your spine. Sorry. Beautiful. Now let's just roll off of the blanket. Gently, gently. Move it to one side. Cover yourself with that blanket so you can come into Shavasana now. Make sure that you're warm enough for the next sort of 15 minutes. And for me, when the blanket is removed and I'm lying flat to the mat, I can really feel how beneficial that little interlude with the blanket was to allow each side of the body to relax more. Now you can allow the spine to relax too. Allow the whole body to relax in Shavasana. The entire physical body now, the material body, the gross physical body is releasing to the floor so that the inner body, the subtle body, can brighten and the energetic flow can be restored. Make sure in your Shavasana that your legs and your arms are far away from the body. So there's room either side of your spine for release. You're lying here now like a snowflake, a 5-pointed star. The most important pose that you will do in your practice is this one, where we get still enough so the energy can flow and correct itself. It's like we get out of the way so the intelligence of the body and the circuitry within the body can come alive and light up. You're a snowflake now, lit up from the inside to the out. Now gently as you lie here, start to bring your awareness down to your feet. As you breathe in, breathe up to the crown of your head. As you breathe out, back to the base of your feet, the soles of your feet. Into the crown of the head. to the base of the feet. Into the crown of the head. And out to the base of the feet. Into the crown of the head. Now out to the back of your knees. Into the crown of your head. Out to the back of your knees. Into the crown of your head. Out to your hips. Into the crown of your head. And out to your hips. Into the crown of your head. And out to your sacrum. Into the crown of the head. And out to the kidneys. Into the crown of the head. And out to the kidneys. Into the crown of the head. Out to the baked beans, the kidneys. Relaxed like beans on toast. Into the crown of your head. Now out to your heart center. Into the crown of the head. And out to your throat. Into the crown of your head. Out to your third eye. Right into the crown of your head. And now release your breath, release your energy through your body. Release the meditation, release the exercise, the breathing exercise. Trusting the flow of intelligence and light that you are. Allowing this inner flow now to unite with the outer body. As you lie here now like a perfect human snowflake, every cell in your body holds a perfected geometry and is dropping like a little snowflake down to the ground, uniting with the earth. Uniting with the beauty and the loveliness of winter.
Shanto
Okay, lovelies, let's just begin to deepen the breath. Feeling yourself like a little snow angel, full of light. Fully embracing this interlude of rest so that you can brighten within, so that you can resource any depletion. Let's begin to radiate that brightness out into the room now as you move your fingers and toes. You can imagine you sprinkling little snowflakes of your own brightness all around you. If you're practicing in the room with everybody else, you can begin to feel this gentle falling of energetic, beautiful, bright white snow. The sacred geometry that we are, moving through the room. You can breathe that in. And then take whatever stretch your body needs. You might want to hug your knees in towards your chest. And rock a little side to side. Just massage your kidneys. Say thank you to your kidneys for all the help they give us with the fluids in the body and keeping those fluids pure, white, bright, and just beautiful. So, and I picked this practice today because wintertime, the water is so beautiful. It's so pure. So lovely. Feel the light that you are, feel the purity within you as you roll to one side. And you can mentally bring whatever is relevant for you back with you now as you come up to a comfortable seat. Bringing your hands to Namaste, prayer position, Anjali Mudra. Recognizing that the light within you is at one with the light within me, and we are the same, and we are one. Sending you all season's greetings. A huge namaste. Namaste.